Well, so here we are
Here we
with our
are.
guest,
Yes.
Marcus Schrenker.
Marcus
Welcome.
Schrenker. Welcome, Marcus. Thank you for joining
Hey,
us.
Darcy. Hey, Carla. It's good to be here. How you doing?
We're doing
We're
well. How are
good.
you?
Yeah, that's
Good.
actually the first question. That's
Yeah.
the first question before we jump in and then all those questions and things we're going to talk about. How are you today?
I'm good. I think like a lot of people, just work in progress.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very thankful for everything I have in my life and my family. And I don't think I could ask for anything more.
Mm.
Well, this is great, but before we get to this point that you are today, that's a lot that we would like to talk to you about it and ask you some questions. So, I'm sure that a lot of people that are going to be watching this know what happened. When was that?
Yeah.
7 years ago? More than
That
that?
was in my 30s, Carla. To show you how long ago it was. It's in my
It's
30s.
5 years ago.
I'm in
No.
my 50s. I'm in my
You
50s
haven't
now.
changed much, so don't worry about it.
I feel it. I feel old
You
age creeping
well, you
in.
feel like it was another life, but I believe that
Mm.
was 9 years ago.
2000.
Yeah,
You
was
froze. Hang on.
whatever.
I
Oh,
lost
no.
you.
Are we frozen? Uh-oh. You said we
You lost
froze.
Hello.
me. Okay, and we're back.
Okay. Now I got you. Now
Okay.
we're
Okay,
back. Okay. All right, go ahead.
so I don't even know how to start. So let's start this way. How do I
Okay.
know you? Right.
Oh, yeah.
So my husband is a good friend of Marcus. Of course, a lot of things happen, but they don't have much contact anymore like they had in the beginning. When I moved to United States, um, I came to Indianapolis. My English wasn't very good. I have to wait for all the documents to come
Mm-hmm.
out with immigration. And then my husband said, "Hey, I have a friend that you might do babysitter for them, like while you're waiting stuff, because I hate being home." And he would travel a lot, and I didn't want to be home by myself.
Mm-hmm.
So he introduced me to Marcus' family.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time I saw the family, I was like, "Oh my God, so those Hollywood family exist." Was not just the movies,
Mm.
you know, beautiful house, beautiful couple,
Mm-hmm.
three beautiful kids. And there I was babysitting for the first time in my life. So there's some funny stories that happened along the way. They were very nice letting me babysit their kids. And the youngest one was still like a baby, because I think it was like 2 or 3, not more than
Okay.
that. And I had to change diapers. And his ex-wife would be like, Carla, after the third time, I didn't want to tell you because, but you're putting the diapers backwards.
Oh, that's
So they were
hilarious.
so nice. And then
We've all been there, Carla.
I know. But I think because they were friends, Marco was just like, just let it go. Just let it go.
We don't want her to feel bad.
I know. But those kids were adorable, like
Aw.
very polite. And the family was like literally like a Hollywood
Mm.
couple. I'm very lucky to have met you guys, to participate in some of your things that you did for the beautiful birthday party you threw one time for your ex. I was there, and it was absolutely gorgeous, like one of the best party I've ever been. It was it's kind of a luau, right? Like a Hawaiian theme.
Oh,
And yes, remember that? And
yeah.
it was anyway.
I,
Marcus, you were very
oh,
romantic though. Like
Mm.
through the time that I met you guys, you always doing something romantic.
Mm.
You like to show off a lot too. I would say that.
yeah,
Um,
and Carla, I want to comment about that. I look back on that, and I think our value system, well, I know, my
mhm,
value system back then, and I've apologized to you and your husband, many times for my own behavior. And I look back at it, and I'm actually ashamed of a lot of that ostentatious behavior and the things I did. I think a lot of things I did, I was really more self-centered and looking for my own attention and affirmation. Look how good of a husband I am. And the reality was I was a horrible husband and a horrible father. So it's hard to believe that was almost 20 years ago that that
Mm.
happened.
Yeah.
But looking through the lens of distance and perspective, I can look back on that now and I kind of shake my head and think, oh, what in the world was I thinking?
Mm.
Well, you have a successful business at that time. You
I'm
guys
losing.
always showed that it was perfect from outside, right? From outside it was
Yeah.
perfect. And but let's start with the question, and feel free to ask questions too, to interrupt me, because I
Okay.
do talk a lot. So how how did all this started? How did you notice that you're like, okay, I'm not being a good husband or I'm doing something wrong? How did
Mm.
that switched?
Well, I don't think at the time you could have told me. I don't think anyone could have got through to me. And I was living a very ostentatious, egocentric, unspiritual, unclean life. So I don't think at the time I was even remotely aware of how depraved, I was and my own behavior. And there's this saying that men grow old too quickly, wise too slowly. And I think I
Mm.
fit in that mold pretty good. Looking through the lens of 20 years of self-reflection and introspection, I look back on that and think, oh, the money I spent, for example, on that birthday party, all the charitable things we could have done, all the mission work we could have done with that money, all the lives we could have really made a positive influence. And instead, we're blowing up money and fireworks and these crazy
Yeah.
big parties. And it's really, I'm very ashamed of that. I am. And not only that, I think what I demonstrated to my own children was that this is success. And
Mm.
the reality is that's the farthest thing from the truth. The success is having a loving family, even if you have a little house or you work a blue collar job, whatever. Love and compassion and helping others and mission work and being involved in your church and having a real honest meaningful relationship. That's life. What I was showing them was the Hollywood version of life, which
Mm.
is unfortunately pretty shallow.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know it's it's not
Yeah,
real.
because you had it all. You had a beautiful family, you have
Mhm.
successful business, you had airplanes, you have sport cars. Um, coming from Brazil, when I saw your garage for the first time, oh no, this is the car just for summer. And I'm like, what? Like, you guys really do that? I was like, wait, what? Oh yeah, this car we don't drive in the winter
Yeah,
because it's a convertible. It's like, what? So it was a lot.
Mhm.
You were always like, everything was so big. The lights, Christmas lights was huge. The house was very
yeah,
decorated, and they have very good taste in everything
Mhm.
they put in the house. And for me, it was just like, oh my God, this is really exist. Like
Mhm.
the reality of what I was seeing. But it was a broken home, right? There was a
yeah, and I take responsibility there. I believe the man should be the spiritual leader of the home, and I don't know if you know this, Carla, but I was not raised um, in any type of spiritual home. I don't want to say the word religion, but
Mhm.
we weren't believers, and it wasn't until I hit rock bottom, and I kind of told you this. I think God does His best work with us when we truly do hit rock
yes.
bottom,
Mhm.
because and I promise I won't turn this into a sermon,
No,
but
no.
when there's less of us and we're at the end of our rope,
Mm.
that's when there's more of God and He can really do His work. And I think for me, when I did hit rock bottom, that's when I really started to do a lot of examination in my own life, and I really started to change my heart and let God into my life. And since
Mhm.
then, it's been a very slow change, but I think through, people who meet me now and knew me 20 years ago, they're like, who are you?
It's like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
what, what you're going to You're going to
So
Guatemala for a mission? What? You know?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you said that. You said if you knew, you would have used the money in so many different ways. It would touch so many lives. I have a story to ask you to see if you remember. So there was I don't know if it was that party in particular or it was another one, but my husband and I was living in your house during the party time, and we are walking in a kind of a dark street, and we are walking back to our car, and you are coming. Do you remember that? You'll come in a
Mm,
golf cart with a girl next to you.
Mm.
right.
Uh,
A
and
woman?
a woman.
No,
Yeah. Sorry, not a
no,
girl,
it's
a
okay.
woman. Make that clear. And then you kind of stopped and you're like, oh, hi. Like you're surprised that
Mm.
we caught you with her.
I was probably
Started.
doing something wrong then.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And then you're like,
Yeah.
oh, this friend of mine forgot her, sweater in the car, and we came to get it. And my husband and I was shocked because at that point we had no clue what's going on. But it was the first time
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, is he cheating? You
Mm.
know? But that was the first time I was like, wait, what? Whoa, 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 you know? So you probably don't remember that because was everybody very happy with a lot of alcohol around. But we went home, and that day was the day that I start thinking that things would not could not be that perfect that I thought it could be.
Mm.
It was, Um,
Yeah.
so what were going through your mind when you knew the cheating was going on and you have to walk into your house and pretend that nothing happened? Because we were just talking about this one day about how hard it is
Mhm.
when I had feeling for
Mm.
somebody else is still with somebody. Nothing happened. It was just feeling, and you feel that's wrong, right? So
Mm.
how was that for you?
Carla, since we've talked about this, I have thought about infidelity. I've been cheated on and I've done cheating. And I've tried to unpack this and really think it through. Why do we cheat and how does it feel when people cheat on us? So I really want to just focus on my own responsibility, not what people have done to me, but what I have done. And I think what it comes down to is you can't worship sin, you can't worship God at the same time. You got to choose one or the other. And if you want to be a sinner and you do want to cheat and you want to, hurt your spouse and your children and destroy a marriage, there are serious consequences to that. One of the worst consequences is we hurt our children. We destroy our kids, our family. We don't show them how a man should love his wife. We show them something far more horrible, the consequences of losing the marriage, everything that you hold dear. And then one of the worst consequences is hell. And we don't a lot of times people forget that sin results in hell, which is eternity. And I think for me, I look
And the
back
hell
on
can be
that.
that moment, the hell that can be
Oh,
the
Hell on
consequence, the
earth.
result of that
Mhm.
consequence. It's losing everything and realizing that.
that's just the beginning.
Yeah.
That's just the beginning. Not only that, the innocent people that are hurt by
Mm.
our own actions. And I look at my actions and how much they hurt my three children. I will never forgive myself for that, and I will never get over that. And not only that, my ex-wife and how I hurt her. I can still remember her crying, and
Mm.
and you know how much pain she was in. Um, I'll never get past that. But I think it goes when you ask why, why. I think I didn't. Well, I know I didn't fear God. I idolized myself. I
Mhm.
idolized worldly
Just you,
things.
you, and you. Yeah.
You,
Mhm.
me, and more me. And we see that in today's world. It's like
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
the world's gone crazy about themselves. And I think I just keep praying that this world's going to turn and, we're going to start loving each other and start looking out for other people and really taking responsibility for ourselves. But looking back on that, I kind of want to go full circle is that I take responsibility for my actions. And what I did was horribly sinful and horribly wrong. And I deeply regret it. And I would, any man that's considering cheating on his wife, I would say, talk to me first. Let me tell you a story of
Mm,
where that's going to lead. It's going to lead to nowhere quick, and it's going to lead to total destruction and
mm,
destroying your kids, hurting your kids, but what a charged,
Yeah.
mm.
very charged, and painful subject you guys have chosen as an opener here.
Yeah,
It
I know.
really is.
I want to say something that's just make you guys laugh because I heard that once. I don't know if I told you that before, Marcus, but it's uh I heard this once about cheating and said the fuck doesn't worth the fucking.
Mm,
It's like it is,
yeah.
it is. And if you think about it, it is.
Hmm.
Uh because I remember during that everything was happening. Um we heard stories later how your ex found out, how she went after you, how she confronted you,
Hmm.
how, and then I think was all like literally a snowball because let's talk about a little bit about the addiction.
Yeah,
Mm.
Okay.
and that plays a huge issue into that, and I think,
Yeah, because there were it wasn't just one. It wasn't just infidelity.
No,
You
it
were
was
struggling with um many other really heavy things, right?
yeah, I
Drug and
had
alcohol
hmm
addiction.
yeah, I had back surgery, and there was this drug that came out called Oxycontin, and I don't know if you guys have seen the
Oh,
Netflix
I actually
episodes.
I'm watching that just
Yeah,
because you told me about
Oh,
it.
the
It's on Netflix.
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
yeah, and
Hmm.
I remember the doctor telling me, "Hey, this stuff isn't addictive and won't affect you in any way," and that was the kind of
Just
BS
like in
they
a
were
movie.
being. Yeah, they were being fed the same thing, and
Hmm.
what I didn't realize was, oh, hang on, how do we turn that to voicemail? Okay, are you guys back?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Let's try that again. Sorry.
That's
Um,
okay. It was fine on our end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it kept saying send a voicemail or something. Someone was calling. This is the first time I've done a Zoom meeting, I gotta tell you. I've stayed away from the world for a while.
Well,
Yeah.
understandably
Um,
so. Yeah.
so addiction and substance abuse plays a huge role in our moral compass, and we all know that. We've gotten drunk before, and we've said things we shouldn't have said.
Yeah.
We've done things we shouldn't have done. Oxycontin and opioids are in a totally different realm. They make
Mm.
people crazy, and I was at the top of that crazy list. I think I'm already a little outgoing and crazy, and I think Oxycontin was just kind of setting fuel to the fire. Um, but for me, it altered my moral compass, and I still don't understand how I thought these actions were okay. And
Mhm.
I don't think my ex-wife understood. We really didn't understand Oxycontin at the time. We know a
Mhm.
lot more now,
Yeah.
Mhm.
as what Purdue Pharma did and how they deceived the public on how addictive this stuff was and how it just wrecks families. I think the last count I saw was hundreds of thousands of people have OD'd,
Mm.
Wow.
and millions of
A
families have
tragedy.
been destroyed over this drug. And we were kind of in that realm, but it played a huge effect on me. And I think at that point, before everything snowballed, if I would have just been committed and said, we're cutting him off from all drugs, we're going to dry him out, I don't think anyone would really even know my name. None of that would have happened. But we just didn't know that. And I kind of slipped through the cracks and just got worse and worse and worse at that point.
Was that was that also alcohol involved? Like alcohol, so the medication and struggling business, right? Because it was like around 2008, 2009
Hmm.
when all the things start
Yeah.
sinking. So you're going through a lot of business pressure and then alcohol and then the cheating and then the
Hmm.
medication. It's a lot. It's a
Hmm.
lot for one person to handle. I'm not saying that what you did was right, but it's the responsibility also of carrying that family
Hmm.
uh, on your shoulder. Uh, it will take you to do some crazy stuff. I mean,
Hmm.
I can't
I,
imagine.
I think, yeah, I think so. And there's a saying, desperate people do desperate things. And I think at that point, I wasn't in my right mind, and I was desperate in some way to help. And the reality was I needed help. I was at the end.
Has
I
anybody
need.
told you that, Marcus, you need help? You need to stop,
Mhm.
look at what's going on. You need help, or you would just not listen to people that would say
Mm.
that.
Well, no one did. In fact, I can't really remember anyone. But I think I look back on it. If I was in that position today, I know my church family would come in here and they would shut me down in a heartbeat. And there's been times I have gone in the wrong direction in the last couple of years, and my church family have pulled me inside and said, "Hey, brother, man, you're in the wrong here. We need to right the
Mhm.
ship and you need to address these issues." And that's the way it should have been. And that's the power of having,
The
being in a
right
good
people
church.
and be involved in the right
Right.
community, in the right church. Yes.
There is this phenomena I've read about, is that very wealthy people will surround themselves with yes people,
Mm.
people that are profiting from you, and they will say yes to anything you say. And back then, everyone said yes to anything I said. Hey,
Yeah.
we're going to go buy a new jet. Oh, that's great.
Mm.
We're going to go do this. That's wonderful. You're going to get a new raise. Well, that's great too. No one ever said,
Yeah.
Mm.
"Hey, Mark, maybe it's time you sober up and get your act together, because you're going to go straight to hell if you continue to live this way,
Mm.
and you're going to hurt a lot of people." That really should have been the talk at that time. And it's sad that I didn't have anyone around me to,
Wow.
to, to lock me down and say, "Hey, dude,
Mm.
you're way off course here."
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I think that's the power of having good Christian friends, is they're going to hold you accountable.
Yeah.
And
They're
we're
going to
all
point
working
fingers to you and
Mm.
say what are you doing wrong.
right in a brotherly, loving way too. And I look back on where did I go wrong, and it always comes back to I had no foundation in in Jesus and in God. I had no belief system. I was basically an atheist, and I believed in me.
Mm.
And that foundation is a house built on sand. It's not going to last very long. And I loved worldly things. I thought that was success. And the reality is that is not success. And so you talk about the end. I look all the way to the beginning, and the beginning was not believing, not fearing God,
Mhm.
not having a moralistic value system. And that's where it started. And I do want to say something here. I hope you'll let me go off track here for just a second. This is really the first time I've spoke publicly, and
Mhm.
I want to apologize to you and Carla for my behavior. I was not an upstanding Christian. I was an upstanding man. And the way I led you guys was not the way a leader should lead. I should have been far more humble, and I should have been doing things that that were of family value. And the
Mhm.
other thing too is I want to apologize to anyone I've offended or hurt. I am so sorry. I am so ashamed of my behavior.
That'll make me cry.
But
Oh.
yeah, I am ashamed. And I hope whoever I did hurt, they will forgive me.
Mm.
And I hope they will understand that I have learned deeply from my mistakes, and that I will live a good life from here on out. And I will use this as a foundation to maybe help others
Mm.
that, I see kind of following my same footsteps 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I
I
think that's very powerful.
yes.
I love that you went through hell and back. I mean, uh, you like you said, you hit rock bottom. Um, and unfortunately that's what it had to take. It sounds like for you to learn, um, and to make a huge change in your life, right? Um, I'm curious, when did that happen? When did that light bulb go off for you? When did you have it must have been like an epiphany, I imagine, in your life. Was it a person? Was it an experience? W- How did that happen? How did the change
You know,
happen?
um, I'm not a very smart guy, obviously, and not very
Oh my
wise, but
gosh. You're
no,
not
no, I'm
smart.
serious. Well, no, I don't think I am. But when, when all that happened and I got thrown in jail, um, I got thrown in jail in a very scary place. It was called Escambia County, Florida, which is a county, two counties down. And
Hmm.
remarkably, I drive past that jail all the time. I'm
Oh,
like,
wow.
I would
I
be away. I
remember.
would be like
That's
far away
that's
from
a
this place.
reminder,
Yeah.
a daily,
Well,
Yeah.
frequent
yeah,
reminder.
it is. But when I got thrown in jail, there was no more Oxycontin. There was no more
Mm.
opiates. There was no more alcohol. And that's when detox started. And anyone that's been through detox, just going cold turkey, knows that it's a near death experience. But it
Mhm.
was that day, I remember I prayed to God and I said, God, I don't expect to get me out of this because I knew I was guilty. I knew, and I had never prayed before. I
Mm.
can believe I'd never said a prayer
Wow.
ever in my life. And there I did. And I said,
So that was your first time that you actually talked to
first
God.
time ever, got on my knees there, throwing up all over
Wow.
the a very dark jail cell. I was stripped naked too. They strip you totally naked, and they're like, "Okay, enjoy
So
yourself."
literally, it's
Well,
God saying you have nothing
Mhm.
now.
zero. You have
Zero. You don't
nothing. No
have
family.
nothing. Literally,
You're totally alone. Yeah,
you're
you're
gonna
just
have
with
to
you.
come to me.
Yep.
Mm.
And some people will still not do it.
Mhm.
But I, God is the ultimate. What they say, vengeance is mine.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
God's got a way of smacking people down when they need it, and I clearly needed it. But it was at that moment I prayed. And I said, I just want you to bring people into my life that can maybe help me
Mm.
and help me to push people out of my life that won't help me. And God, please forgive me for my sins. And I look back on that and think where I am today. One, I didn't die in any of that. I didn't die in the plane crash. I didn't die, in all that event. I didn't die in detox. I didn't die in prison. And I'm a
So
free
there, it's a
man
proof that He's
today.
giving you another chance.
Mhm.
It is, but it's more than that. I believe that God answers our prayers. Sometimes we want the microwave version where boop, hit
Mm.
a button and we're okay. He gave me kind of the slow crock pot version, I'll
Mhm.
say, where he just slowly cooked me along and helped me to become a better person. And Carla, I am not perfect in any way. I
Mm.
still fall down. I still make huge mistakes. I do it all the time. And but I look back on that prayer, that time, and I think that's the apex in the road. That's when everything started changing because
Mm.
I surrendered. And I think today,
Yeah.
in today's world,
Mhm.
people don't want to
Beautiful story.
surrender.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, they don't. And they
Mhm.
don't want to surrender and they don't want to give up control to God. They don't want to put it in his hands. They want to put it in their
Mm.
hands. And he brought people into my life that have blessed me in ways that I don't deserve. I don't deserve redemption. I don't deserve these people and these friends. I don't even deserve my beautiful wife and family. I don't. And I don't get it. Um,
Well, you obviously do deserve it because if not, God wouldn't have given to you.
Mm.
He gave you a second chance,
Mhm.
and you understood what you're responsible for now, and you made the change. So you
Mhm.
did, and you should be proud of
right.
yourself.
Yes.
And to answer, your question when you apologize, I think we passed that.
Mm.
I think you know that we always kept communication. I received a lot of letters from you from jail
Mm.
uh, when we trying to understand what happened because it wasn't at that point wasn't about you. It was about my husband and I going to your house, helping your ex-wife, helping your kids.
Mm.
I never forgot that they were used to so many good things, right? Because they grew up with money.
Mhm.
And then my husband and I came over and they didn't have money for anything at that point. Government shut down everything. So we like, hey guys, we're moving stuff here, but we're gonna order lunch. And what do you guys want? And I remember one of the kids like, McAllister and this. And the other one was like, can I have a steak? Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, guys, my husband and I are not your mom and dad. And we don't have that kind of money. So let's get some other kind of sandwich. To not to say the bread. But yeah, so there was a shock for them. And for those kids to understand what was going on. Like it took my husband, because he was more friends with Mark, like, because they were friends. He was mad at you. He was, how can you do that to these kids? And how can you do that to your ex-wife? So to that point, you guys didn't talk for a long time. And I was always trying to, and my husband still like, I'm still not ready. Because we helped your family to go through that. We help moving stuff. We help with food. We help. And that was so painful to see the way the things went. And now I know, it's the past. I think they all took their path now, their different lives. There is a lot of things they still carry from what happened in the past, but I believe at least the two of them that I have contact, became a very good person. And
Yeah.
I think you should be proud of that in some ways, because they saw what happened and they maybe took that as an example of what not to do. And they are successful. I believe they're successful professionally and in a relationship, and they continue with their life. Unfortunately, we don't have much contact with them anymore. But I see them on social media. So, and they know we are here for them. We always tell them, my husband and I are here for you if you guys need anything, and they know that. And I feel like giving you this chance, like you said, you haven't talked to anybody, that a lot of people and a lot of media came to you, wanting to tell your story. When I don't know if I ever told you that, but at the moment that happened, Brazil had a soap opera going on. It was very famous. And the end of one of the characters, it was said later in the interview that the director took your story to fit at the end of that character. He said, I knew I have to end the character in some ways. I want him to die, but not really die. And I saw that news in the United States, and I copied the story. And I was like, I even told my husband, I was like, gosh, he's famous even in Brazil.
Well, the guy had to have been a jerk too. No,
so it was the character jumped off the airplane, parachute himself off, and then at the end, the character, like everybody thought he was dead, and he wasn't dead. I don't know if you want to answer this. Feel free if you're like, yeah, not really. But what was going through your mind at that point? That I know you had a plan there. I know. I still remember I was at work and my husband called me like, turn your TV on. I'm like, why? What's going on? So it's Marcus Schrenker right there. And the first person was like, what's going on? But at that moment that you had, okay, I'm going to parachute out. I am going to disappear being me.
Yeah.
What to make you, I know you couldn't think straight at that point. But what was your plan?
Carla, a lot of people ask me that. And I think this is where the short circuit kind of happens. Everyone's like, what was your plan?
Yeah.
Because it
What's
doesn't
your
make
plan again?
sense. And when you're at the end of addiction, it's going to end in three ways. It's going to end in death, prison, or basically recovery. And, I guess mine was going to be death, apparently. But I was so drunk and so high at that point that I don't think I could really put anything together. And I guess I don't remember my thought process, but I can only tell you it was clearly crazy.
It is a movie. I don't know why it's not in Hollywood yet.
Because I haven't allowed it.
I know.
And the reason why is there's twofold. One, I don't think I had matured enough and had enough time to look back and reflect on it and be totally brutally honest with myself and my own sins. And two, I feel that the glory needs to go to God, not Netflix, not me. This isn't me. This is how God worked through me to change me and make me a better person.
Mm-hmm.
So those were my two big issues. Is I wanted truth, and I didn't want this to be a circus um, kind of movie damning everyone and everything. I
But
wanted
don't
to
you
be.
think that a movie that would show what happened and what you became today would actually help others?
I would hope it would. I'm still a mess. We're all a mess, and we're all work in progress. But I don't think Hollywood's really interested in that. I've been contacted by Netflix and Prime, and people have written crazy books about me and this and that. And I've never agreed to any of it because I just felt that what's the use? What's the gain? And for me, the only qualifier on that is if the glory goes to God, because I truly believe that He worked through me to help me redeem my life and put me back together.
And you
And
feel like it's kind of
that's
it's a private thing.
it is. And I'm not sure Hollywood's really interested in that. I've read the scripts and the screenplays, and it's just like this isn't even close to the
Mm.
truth on what
Oh,
happened.
okay.
It's not. They just take a story and they just run with it, and
Mm-hmm.
who knows? They'll show me flying an F-16 or something stupid.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't think you guys. I don't think anyone really knows this, but that night I really wasn't in my right mind. And I think just because when you
Oh,
lose
yeah.
everything,
I
Was that,
think
yeah,
we
let's
presumed.
jump out of our airplane.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like that. That's
With
not in the right
gold
mind.
tied
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
the ankle. That's what
yeah,
sounds like.
and I think that's why I was granted so much mercy by the court too, was they realized that, you
Mm.
know, he clearly was not thinking
Yeah.
clearly.
Yeah.
And you know, when a person, when I had lost my ex-wife, she had filed for divorce, I'd lost everything. And
You
when
lost your
you
business. Yeah. At the same
everything when
time.
it was imploding, it was the Great Recession.
Mm-hmm.
And when you base your life on worldly things and all that falls apart, you have no foundation. You have
You have
nothing
nothing.
to
Mm.
stand on. And I think that's where I'm far different today, is that if I lost everything today, I could care less.
Mm.
I know who I am, and I know who my God is. And with that, I know I can get through anything. And worldly things really don't matter. But at that time, that was my value system. And I think that's why it caused
Mm.
such a huge
Yeah.
mental overload. Then you throw Oxycontin into that, and you throw alcohol into that, and now you've just got someone who's offline. But that night, I guess I climbed up to 30 something thousand feet, I don't know, and went to the back of the airplane and opened the door.
Mm.
And I don't know if you guys know what happens when you like pop a balloon. Well, that's what happened. The door flew off and or flew down or off, and I went out with it
Mm.
instantly. And the parachute
So,
was
Oh, it's at
well, you have the
30,000.
yeah,
parachute on.
yeah, the parachute didn't open. The
Mm.
parachute was destroyed, and torn apart. And
Wow.
there's only one river, big river in Alabama. It's called the Coosa River, Coosa. And I spiraled down, at terminal velocity and hit that river and landed in a deep enough part of that river where it didn't kill me.
Oh
The
my
odds of that, the
Yeah.
odds of
happening.
that, are one in a gazillion. And at the sentencing hearing, they just said, my survival was. And the guy looked at me. He goes, divine,
Mm.
because there's no other way to explain that.
Wow.
And I thought about that a
Remarkable.
lot. There was just too many
Ooh.
incidences of things that happened along this path over the last 10 to 15 years where I look back on it and go, that's a God thing. That's
Mm.
a God thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's a God thing. And it's just never ending. So that's why I give all the glory to Him. It's humbling. It has changed me. It has floored me. It has
Yeah.
convicted me.
And that was the
Yeah.
first the chance, because and then later on with the second episode, that you try to kill yourself,
Mm.
right? And he gave you a second chance there because
Yeah.
they were able to find you before you could, you lost a
At
lot
the
of blood.
campground, right?
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
and that's crazy too. I wrote Tom Britt, and Tom, if you're watching this, I want to apologize to you because I was really upset with you. And I'm sorry if I was upset with him because he saved my life. Can you imagine that? A guy yelling, "I just saved
Mm.
your life,"
And
Mhm.
you're mad
and
at me
you're mad at me, and I was very upset with him.
Mm.
But
because you didn't want to live, right?
Mm.
Because you want
I
that
did
done.
not
You want the pain gone. You
clearly.
want the life gone.
Yeah, yeah. And I took a lot more pills, and that was it. I remember falling asleep, and then I woke up with a bunch of people with guns around me. And if Tom wouldn't have um, given that email to the FBI, and they were able to somewhat track me down in the area, yeah, I wouldn't have lived. And
Have
so
you ever talked to him after that?
I fortunately I said some pretty rotten things to him.
Okay.
Mm.
And it is my plan to get up there sometime and meet with him face to face. And I need to apologize to him. I was a real jerk to him, and I hope he can forgive me. We were talking about our kids a second. I want to move back to my three kids, and something I've written to them and told them is that as your father, I've made a grave mistake. And my greatest mistake was not raising you in a Christian home. My greatest mistake was not being involved in the church, and focusing on the things we could do to better the world instead of, what I did show them was an ostentatious, sinful, worldly place. So
Yeah.
I have really struggled with that, and I've written them, and I've tried to show them. And I truly believe they live a Christian life now too, and I hope they do. But as a father, I think one of our most important things is to raise our kids in a worldly home, I'm sorry, raise our kids in a Christian home where we have good Christian values, not what I was showing them.
Hmm.
Sorry to talk so much,
That's
guys.
No,
okay.
no.
I have a
Yeah.
question about
Yeah.
how did you meet your current wife? Can you tell us that story?
I met Lee Ann. She saw me on Facebook, and we like Christian music, and we started talking about Christian music. And I had always prayed to meet a believer, a woman. And I tried to date before Leanne, and it never really worked out because I wanted a Christian home. I wanted someone who would
Mm.
teach me, and I wanted a marriage that was wholesome and a house that was wholesome. So I didn't know what I was in for. when you when you marry a Christian woman, oh,
That's
she's
funny.
gonna straighten you out. And I want to tell you, she has crucified me.
I love that.
That's awesome.
She has
Way
torn
to
me
go,
up.
Leanne.
Yes, way to go. So
Yeah,
today you're married. Today you
yeah.
have her kids around, right? It
Hmm.
feels like a family again. And I'm sure you two raised them in a Christian home. And I have seen you helping a lot of people, doing a lot of things
Mm.
um, that shows that you care more about others now than yourself. And you have proven that.
Mm.
I know, not say that I know, I would say that I think there is a lot of people out here that is still mad at you, investors or people that
Mm.
um, would still blame you for a lot of things. And I hope
Hmm.
those people that if they see this, they understand that it's two different people. That was the Marcus before and now. That I know, knowing you, I know you would go to every single one and
Mm.
apologize to them. I don't think any of us should point fingers and not giving people a chance because we're not God.
Mm.
Okay. And
Yeah.
we don't know what people are going through. There is a
Absolutely.
scene that I absolutely love in the movie. Uh, the shack. So there is a
Mm,
dad that was always there was a person who was always judging other people.
Mhm.
So the character that passed as God come to this person and say, I want you to sit here in this chair. And it's like, wait a minute, that's your chair. It's God chairs.
hmm.
No, but I want you
Yeah.
to sit here right now.
Mm.
So, he sits there and God goes, well, this person you were judging, but you had no idea this is what's going on behind her life. So
Mhm.
this person
Yeah.
too behind her life. So those two are going through this, and you have no idea what was going on, but you're mad at them, you're judging them. So right now, so parent to be his daughter and his son. Right now, I have to take one of them
Mm.
from life. Which you want? You want me to do it?
Mm.
And he's like, I can't do that. It's like, yes, you can. He's like, no, I can't do that. I did not know my son was going through this. I did not know my daughter was doing this, why she was behaving like that. And God said, but you guys do that all the time. You judge people all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to judge right now which one should have to go. So nothing happened, but it was so powerful.
Mhm.
And make me, it taught me a lot. Taught me a lot. Like, this person's mad at me. Wait a minute. What happened for this person to be like that right now, to feel like that right now? It wasn't me. So you have more compassion to people,
Yes.
for people. So it's just,
Mhm.
it's
Em-
amazing how
empathy
you
for-
learn things and you become a completely different person. And
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Someone told me something once, and I was having I hold grudges. I get angry. I don't want
oh
to
yeah, we have some
forgive.
stories on the lake about you. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to
Some of the
forgive
neighbors. Yeah.
people. Oh gosh, I don't want to think about that. But
That's
the,
for
the
a
truth is,
Some
different
were funny though.
podcast.
It wasn't funny at that moment, but it was funny later.
yeah, I'm sure it's funny now. But the truth is, we are all sinners. And what someone told me, they said, Mark, I don't think you get it. Christianity is a change of heart, not a change of behavior. And when he told me that, and this is kind of when I call it the book of kibbles. I write these little kibbles down in my book as I go.
Kibbles. That's cute.
And
Mhm.
yeah, and that resonated in me. And for us to forgive other people that have hurt us, really forgive, especially close friends that hurt us or close family. That is so hard. It is so,
Yes.
so difficult to forgive ourselves for the mistakes we've made and the people we've hurt. Oh, that's hard too. And to judge others. I was such a judgmental person. And to not be judgmental and to forgive and to give people second chances. That is
Yeah.
almost impossible in today's world. And I think a lot of people struggle with that. I really struggle with that. And what's it go to say is that, and I'll leave you with this, we cannot expect God to forgive us if we don't forgive others. And that's written all throughout the Bible in different various
Yeah.
ways, but it's really true. And I think we have to remember that. And I've had people write me that I've hurt and said, hey, man, I totally forgive you. And it was the most humbling experience to receive a letter like that. Like, I forgive you. Wow.
Yeah.
I had so much respect for that person, and they taught me to forgive other people. But I think as humans, especially in today's world, that's something we really struggle with. But I do hope that anyone that I did offend or I did hurt or I did something stupid or terrible to, I pray those people can forgive me. And I do ask for that forgiveness. And if anyone wants to contact me and bet on me, I'll listen to it. I will. I mean, I deserve that. And I just hope at the end we can reconcile and we can get past it and we can, all heal and go on.
Yeah.
So we know when this video goes out, we are going to have a lot of comments on this.
Yeah.
I hope you know that. We have people that's going to be great, and we have people are mean people, because they are, because
Haters.
that's what
Haters
you're
gonna
gonna have
hate,
some
right?
haters.
Yeah.
Are you emotionally prepared for this?
Um, I, no, no, because no one likes to be told bad things.
Right. Yeah.
No, it is, you know what, maybe I deserve it. And anything that I think anything that's relevant and that is genuine. Someone saying, "Hey, Mark, do you remember this? You did this, and I'm really upset with you." That's relevant and that's genuine, and that's someone who's got something that's very real. I welcome anything that makes me self-reflect and be a better person. And I think we should all welcome that. But if someone just wants to spread hate or call names or whatever, I give no credibility or merit to that. And they're just wasting their time and they're just being
Yeah,
haters. And
I heard,
that's good
yeah, I
perspective.
heard one thing once, like for me to actually care about your opinion, I have to value it, value
yeah,
opinion. So
Right.
you're right. It is some things that we're it's just like, person
Mhm.
doesn't even know you, doesn't even know what you're talking
Right.
about.
yeah,
And we're gonna have to learn how to let it go things, because if not, if we take everything in, we sink, right? Um, because I'll tell you, for those haters out there, you probably never went through something that you need, to be forgiven by somebody. Like, you are perfect. You never did,
yeah,
you never seen, you never made mistakes, you never so it's just think about this, don't point your fingers, because you will be sitting in a God chair one day having to judge things that you don't want to, because you have no idea the stories behind. And like Marcus said, there was no idea that we knew what was going inside his house when you look for the beautiful house outside. It
We
was a
don't know what
perfect
goes on
family.
behind closed doors,
Exactly.
and we don't walk in other people's shoes. Like you
Yeah.
said, everybody has really hard stuff going on.
Yeah.
Not always like
yeah.
to this degree, but I think you've shown such a genuine humility here, transformation. It's very clear. I mean, I didn't know you before today, and I
And
think
you wouldn't have, and 20 years ago, you wouldn't have wanted to know me.
well,
I
I
tell people
appreciate.
all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you. I can't even imagine how hard it is to do this, to just sit down and talk about it. And for knowing that the the world is going to see it soon. And so thank you. Thank you for being humble and open. And I love that you want to use this for good. You want others to learn from your mistakes and to see that there is hope. You've really I think it's very inspiring.
It
I
is.
think it's beautiful.
It is.
Beauty from ashes, you could say. And there's a lot of, I guess, cliches and things you could say, but it's so, kudos to you, and you should be proud. And I know it's a continual, I'm sure, daily,
Yeah.
hourly, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So,
We struggle every day. We all do.
yeah,
Everyone does,
right.
with their various things. And,
Hmm.
Carly, you brought up something there. You said, at the end of our life, when we sit up, next to God. And I believe that. I believe they're going to play back that video. And I'm
Yeah.
going to shake my head through 3/4 of it and go,
You
oh,
can
we
just go
flew.
like, that wasn't me. No, that was not me.
But
That's the
I'll be
old,
like, can you
yeah.
please forgive me? And that was something I really struggled with for a long time was, does God really forgive all sins?
Mm.
If you ask him, and I believe he does. But yeah, but I believe at the end of our life, that video is played. And you were talking about people casting stones there, Carla, and we all know the story of when Jesus stood next to the lady and he said,
Mhm.
"Hey, if you the first person who hasn't sinned, go ahead and cast that stone," and
Yes.
no one
Right.
Yeah.
could. And I think I was that person who cast all the stones
You
20
would
years
grab all the
ago.
stones.
All of them, and I would cast all of them at everyone else. I
Yeah.
would never look at myself.
Mm.
So I hope I could I'm not that person today. But it's been great talking to you guys.
You too.
Yeah, well,
Thank you
thank you
very
so much. I
much.
Yeah,
know that was
It
kind
was a
of hard
pleasure.
for you for being the first time you'd say, and like I said, when this go public, it's gonna stir the pot a little bit in some people, in some things. Haters, don't waste your time, because I don't
Right.
think it's. I think you have now like a cast that it's like, dude, you can't hurt me anymore.
Hmm.
It's just like, you can try. You're not gonna hurt me anymore. And respect. I believe, if God gave you two chances to survive and a chance to restart your life and teach others,
Hmm.
who are we to point fingers to you?
Absolutely. Very good point.
And you should be proud of yourself. for who you are today. Not proud of yourself what you were a long time ago, but today.
Oh, certainly not.
And you're leaving the doors
Yeah.
open to say, I'm here if you need to talk to me.
Yes.
I'm here to give you advice. I'm here ready to forgive and to be forgiven.
That's very admirable.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I still, I try to reach out and help other people that have gone to prison or going to prison, or, you know, their marriages are in trouble or they're in financial trouble. You know, I do that, you know, confidentially when I can. I was going to say something and it just blew through my mind, but, what was it we were just talking? See, I'm getting
I don't know.
old.
I
I can't
blame
remember anything.
COVID. Every time I forget
Yeah,
things, I'm
brain
like,
fog.
ah, it's COVID.
Man,
COVID did
I
that to
can't
me.
remember anything anymore. I'm
Not the
getting old.
age. That's not the age. It's the
No.
COVID. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, going back to that, you know, if someone that I have hurt, you know, does need to talk or vent, hey, I'm here.
If
You
you need
know,
to do that
and
close that
I
chapter.
think it's
Yeah.
important.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Yeah,
Life
you
is
know,
too
and
short to
we should
hold on
all.
to things.
Yeah.
It really is, and at the end, we don't bring any of this with us.
No.
You know, it's just our legacy is all that's left, and
Mm-hmm.
I hope the end of my life, you know, I do it right from here on out.
Yeah. So thank you so much again for your time. And if
Yes,
we're
thank you.
gonna close this, is
Okay.
there anything that you would throw out there to people that are going through this right now? What is your final message to them? I'm
I
talking
think
about addiction and cheating, and what is your advice?
my device is prayer and surrender, and it's very hard to do. It's very hard to get on your knees and surrender and prayer. But I can assure anyone this is that God does answer all prayers. Maybe not at the timeline we would like, but he does. And I would invite anyone to do that. Stop and pray and watch how your life will change.
Thank you. That it's that's tough. That it's something that people need to understand that, and I hope they do. And thank you again for being who you are today and helping a lot of people. And I think you should have a podcast just helping people.
Yep,
You know,
absolutely.
I think you should
Yeah.
open up there, because it kind of will help you to forgive yourself a little bit, you know, because you have that hard time. But man, if I am going through a moment, hard life, you know, time in my life, and I can talk to somebody that you went through so much, and that person's like, hey, hang in there. Hey,
Yeah, it's
do
very
this.
comforting
Yeah. But, you know,
and therapeutic for you, probably. Too,
you'll be ready when you're ready.
Yeah.
And I know you said people can reach out to you. Leave your comment, and, you know, here, leave, say, hey, I would like to contact Mark. So I will get back to you guys, I swear. And after Mark give me okay, I will give you his contact information.
Hey, it's
Thank you,
the
Mark.
internet. You can find anybody anywhere.
That's true.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
like they can.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. And
It's good being here.
I will
Good having you.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank
I'll
you.
stop the recording, and then
Okay.
we can talk.
Okay.